What happens when a replica dies? Where does their heart go? As Roxas braced for Syax's attack, those were the thoughts that raced through his mind. A flash of light, followed by endless darkness. But this darkness was familiar. This wasn't the darkness of the end. This was the realm of darkness. Roxas was very much still alive. He hadn't been destroyed. He'd simply been moved. Roxas couldn't wrap his head around it. Why would Syax keep him alive? It didn't make sense. But unfortunately for Roxas, he didn't have the luxury of time. He knew how dangerous the realm of darkness was, and if he didn't find shelter quickly, he'd be swarmed by Heartless. Roxas was still badly injured from the attack on Twilight Town, so despite his sense of urgency, he could barely move faster than a shuffle. After several grueling hours of wandering, Roxas finds the entrance to a cave. The entryway is dark and narrow, but far off in the depths of the cavern, Roxas can see a glimmer of light. As he continues down the tunnel, he eventually finds the source. Adhered to the wall of the cave was a torch. The fire was warm and burning brightly. As Roxas examined the nearby area, he was stunned by what he found. A makeshift bed and buckets filled with crystal clear water. But the most surprising thing of all was a note inscribed on the wall of the cave. The note explained that the torch had been lit with magic, so the fire would never go out, and the water in the buckets was purified with magic, so it was safe to drink. The author of the note expressed their sympathies for whoever was reading this message, as it likely meant they were also trapped in the realm of darkness. The author goes on to say that the cave is relatively safe, as there aren't many Heartless living in this area. There's another portion of the message that's directly addressed to someone named Terra, and a more familiar name, Ven. Although the words have gotten a bit obscured, Roxas is able to make out the message. It simply reads, "See you soon. Your friend, Aqua." Roxas's hand begins to move almost on its own. He picks up a small stone and begins to etch his reply. But before he can finish writing his message, the ground beneath him starts to shake. A large portion of the cave floor collapses, and Roxas goes down with it. He braces himself, fully prepared to hit solid rock, but to his surprise, he lands in an underground lake instead. The entire chamber is illuminated with large, glittering crystals, and although the lake has the same consistency as water, it's clearly composed of a different substance. As Roxas continues to examine the chamber, several of the large crystals begin to vibrate. The force of the vibration shakes the entire cave. However, it's not as powerful as the last one. Roxas wonders if maybe these vibrations are the reason that Heartless avoid this place. As Roxas makes his way towards the center of the lake, the vibrations become more frequent, but less powerful. When he finally does arrive in the exact center, the vibrations are little more than a hum. But unbeknownst to Roxas, something miraculous was about to take place. Roxas arrived in the realm of darkness with almost nothing. Although not particularly helpful at the time, he did have a few fragments of his broken keyblades, and those fragments were now resonating with the crystals around him. The substance within the lake began to meld with the broken fragments, and within a matter of moments, Roxas's keyblades were completely restored. But this time, they weren't imitations. They were the real thing. Roxas had unknowingly stumbled into a naturally occurring forge. It'd be nearly impossible to find something like this in the realm of light, but the realm of darkness plays by a different set of rules. Although Roxas doesn't really understand what's happened, he feels grateful for his good fortune. As he looks down at his keyblades, he gets this unusual sense that they're trying to communicate with him. Eventually, their message becomes clear. They're asking Roxas, how can they help? Roxas's strongest desire rushes to the forefront of his mind. He thinks about Axel and Shion and how he wants nothing more than to save his friends. Now that he's regained some of his strength, Roxas is able to create a gateway with the power of darkness. He rushes headfirst into the portal and makes his way back to the realm of light. But just as Roxas leaves, Aqua arrives. She had felt the vibrations at the nearby shore, so she came to the cave to investigate. This cave was one of several safe houses that Aqua had established in the realm of darkness. She did her best to leave supplies at each of them to assist any potential wanderers. Although she rotated between these safe houses frequently, she had never encountered another person. But she hoped today would be different. Unfortunately, the only thing she was greeted with was a caved-in floor. While the underground lake was interesting, it was a far cry from the human interaction she was hoping for. As Aqua was preparing to leave the cave, she noticed something on one of the walls. Just below the message she had inscribed was new writing. 2 words. Thank you. Aqua can't help but smile as tears run down her face. Whew. Does anyone else need a tissue? I guess Aqua's just gonna have to wait it out a bit longer. But I have confidence. She's strong and patient, just like you. Because I know you all are patiently waiting for the next video. So until then, I'm thankful for you, and I'm thankful for your time. And I'm especially thankful for my patrons, DeMonte, Raiden, Not So Average Joey, Eggs, and Xehanort.